but I just want to share some thoughts. It's just my opinion on today's reaction to the signing day.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I believe this is a C grade class.
Ooh.
The cherry on top was definitely Jakeem Stewart.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I believe it was more of a B letter grade. But losing out on Christian Ingram, Josiah Sharma, and Madden Fariyama were major hits. Linebacker Perlett flipping to Tennessee didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we were working up a very solid defensive recruiting class. Now, I feel Jakeem Stewart is seen as the anchor of the defense. I haven't seen him play in the Cardinal and Gold yet, but I have seen his tape and some of his reels on social media. But it would definitely have been very helpful to have other solid bodies, as I mentioned, around him. I know that there's always the transfer portal out there, but there is something about being able to recruit highly sought blue chips that lets your program know that you're doing things right. Now, with the situation about the linebackers coach taking the Fresno job, I'm sure that we'll find another solid, experienced coach that has hopefully some SoCal roots. And then hopefully Lincoln Riley may be able to be open to considering a hiring of a offensive coordinator and look at somebody for example, UNLV. But that was it, Tim. I appreciate you letting me share my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear it. I hear it in your voice. You sound very, very tapped in on recruiting. Matter of fact, you guys, so if you're freaks like us, I can tell you're like me. You guys make sure you get over to Inside Troy at about 7:00. There, you have the D2. Really, you have Gerard Martinez, who's like the grandfather of all time of recruiting. Make sure you go listen. If it's USC and it's recruiting, he's usually in on it. They're going to be doing a probably quite lengthy show tonight. They very rarely do live ones, and so if you get over there, you guys, it's gonna be 10:00 on the East Coast, 7:00 here. You guys are in for a treat because they're gonna go deep, right? They're gonna go deep diving into recruiting. Are you familiar with them?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. I listen to them every now and then.
I was gonna say you sound like you do.
Your show and let it. But you letting us voice our opinion on here, I really kind of keep up with you a little bit more.
Oh man, I appreciate that a lot. Wow, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man.
Hey, Tim, one last thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's thought about this, and I was looking at the class recruiting rankings, and teams like Auburn, teams like Florida, they didn't have a great season. Teams like Michigan, they didn't have a spectacular season. And we are USC. We are the top of the top, the cream of the top. I mean, it doesn't get any more better. So like my thing is, they're able to recruit. Did you see all those commitments that flipped over from other teams? I mean, we should be at that same level. I know we got recruit number 13 class, which is fine, but we should be in the top 10 every year. And Auburn, Florida, and other teams around that realm were able to do that.
Yeah, so I'm with you. So let's talk about some of those teams you're talking about, though. Okay, so for instance, Michigan. They this year, yeah, they took a big step down. Well, they lost their whole coaching staff and everything, but they had this little thing called a national. They had themselves a season last year, didn't they? They won a national championship, and their fan base and their NIL. And there's this guy called Larry Ellison, one of the richest people in the world. That's dropping bags for them. USC doesn't really have that dude. We got a lot of great donors. I think the House of Victory is doing a great job generating the money and getting the money going. If you're not, again, if you guys are out there, you're big recruit people. If you're on here tonight and you're not donating to House of Victory and you're a USC fan, I would have you take a look into that because again, that's a big part of it. Not all of us have millions and billions of dollars, but we do have some money. Even if it's $10, $40, and you don't have to drop thousands or millions of dollars. Make sure you're contributing. But that's one thing for Michigan. And I just think that a lot of these other programs, I think you have to get that part I'm talking about together. I think you need that piece where so it's all new. This is all new recruiting. You have your coaches traditionally, right? So basically, who do they talk about? Your position coaches, right? That's what these kids really want to know is who's my position coach. Losing Matt Entz today probably had a big to do with losing two of the linebackers that you named. One flipped and one we were trying to close a deal on. You know, losing your position coach the day of signing day, wouldn't you agree, is probably a hard sell, you know? And then as far as just the overall recruiting situation at USC, I think for a while now, I think that it's been there's something missing. You know, is it in the structure? Because up in Oregon, we like to make jokes about Phil Knight, Nike U, and all that stuff, but they got their stuff together. You know, they've got guys that are grinders or recruiters, but not just that. They also have that Nike machine behind them as far as marketing, as far as signing contracts, as far as marketing. I mean, think of another country, think of a corporation that's a level of marketing that Nike is, right? You know, just do it. And everything all for like decades. Mm-hmm. So they have all that as a Division Street, I think they got. So it's like they're a machine. And I think USC will get there. I think USC has the donors. Again, people I believe are saying the money is all there, and I believe it is there, but it's getting that money to them. Now, starting next year, I don't know how they're going to do it, but there's a clearinghouse that you can't just start throwing bags at people. It has to be real NIL. If that ever comes true, if they can figure it out through collective bargaining, these guys all become employees, and you can kind of set caps and stuff, and you have to really go out and earn your real and prove that you're actually getting at real NIL. Being in Los Angeles, I think that's going to be a coup for USC, because I think that's where we might have some advantages. But until then, I think we need to get a little more savvy. The money is there. We can compete money-wise. We shouldn't be 13th, 14th money. I guarantee that's not the case. I'm wondering if we're having that problem. We just kind of got on board the past year, right? When we kind of showed the middle finger. Tennessee showed the middle finger, saying NCAA, we're going to do whatever we want with NIL. So that has a big part to do as well. So there's so much going into this, right? I don't think it's a simple answer, because again, just like the team in the roster, if it was a simple answer, then they just replace it and they'd fix it. But the problem is, I think, it's multifaceted, and a lot of it has to do with building that machine that's behind the team and behind the coaching staff. It's that recruiting staff, and those guys are actually involved in these contracts. I think that is where Division Street and Oregon, or the Larry Ellisons and those situations up in Michigan, I think that's where they might be ahead of USC. That's just my 2 cents. I've got no idea. That's my guess. All right.
Well, I appreciate you, Tim.
Yeah, appreciate you. Fight on, man. Have a great night. Thank you so much. Great call. I mean, absolutely great call. Yeah, I think USC needs to get there, you guys, and they will. They will get there. It's no question. USC is going to figure it out. They're gonna. I just give myself some applause. They're gonna figure it out. It's just when, and also, is there gonna be any guardrails on this thing? Because until they do, it's just this game's gonna be run by Oregon. It might get kind of gross at some point if they just keep dumping cash and buying all the players. They're taking on the big boys and laughing. So we'll see what USC can do to kind of get back into that kind of situation.